Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 20 of the anime series Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, and talk about the tide effectively having turned like a slap in the face for Cordelia and Tekkadan. No pun intended, being that this is surrounding the Oceanian group, or whatever they're called, and this former head of Harborough, I guess, Makanai, who has, for all intents and purposes, whispered sweet buttery nothings, this manifesto of revolution, into the ears of Cordelia and Tekkadan to, bring them to Earth. Come to Earth. We will help you in your cause of bringing peace and prosperity to your homeworld of Mars, and all these kinds of things. And he's telling them how successful they were in the dork colonies, and how that all, I don't even know whether to believe him, with him saying this, because out of the same, mouth from one side of the cheek to the other, not only is he basically applauding their efforts and saying how tremendous it is and how they will be protected within the Oceanian group, he's also telling them, basically, if you don't partner with me the way I want you to, if you don't try to, get me back into a position of power, I'm going to let you, hang in the breeze for Gallahorn. They can come and take pot shots at you. I won't do anything about it. In fact, I'll let them know. Come get them, geez. This is really falling in line with that aspect of something I've said time and time again, where does Tekkadan even realize what they're getting into? And Orga's really up against it because, of course, he's got to decide, and he's really taking into consideration the turbines and how Naze might feel about that, and, how McMurdo might feel about that. And I like the dynamic between Naze and Orga very much because they're very brotherly, they're very familial, and Naze seems to have his back no matter what Orga is forced to decide. And when Orga finally makes this decision, does he want to take this impromptu deal with Makanai or fend for themselves? He's like, it's going to be risky either way. That's just the common sense equation. If it's going to be risky either way, take the path of, most reward, basically, that can be gotten out of the scenario. Whether that be representative of protection or, extra people backing you and whatever like that. All of that politicizing that's going on Earth, and, now they're being wrapped up in this whole other thing to take away from Cordelia's cause, her revolutionary cause for Mars, their home world. And all, betwixt this, are we learning about fish and salt water. These are things that these boys have never seen before, and they're even kind of put off by the smell and the look of the fish that's just laying on the plate looking up at them. And it's endearing and comical as well, but then you have this really heartening aspect of Biscuit's receiving a message from his brother that motivates him to be done with Tekkadan. He wants to be done because it's gotten to the point where that hardship, that strained situation between Biscuit and his brother, because of his brother's positioning. Basically it's his brother's contention that I thought I was doing the right thing, and I thought I was doing it, the betterment of people around me, my family, my comrades, and everything like that. That was my motivation. That was the gist behind all the decision-making I was putting forth. And he's warning Biscuit that with all of that in mind, he got swept up in a whirlwind, and disaster struck, and things that were much out of his control, lives being extinguished, that he never wanted to see happen. He never hoped for, he never imagined was possible. All of these lives lost, and it's because he was inadequate to the task. He was not prepared for, the guano storm that would unfold on his doorstep because of the, machinations he got himself involved with. And even now, even as though they are estranged as they are, is Biscuit's brother trying to tell him, watch yourself. Take care of yourself. Be mindful of what you're getting yourself into. Think of your family. Think of your little siblings. Think of your grandmother. Think of me. Even though there's little hope of us ever being together again, be mindful of yourself. His brother is very much concerned for his well-being. And unfortunately, this is exactly the sort of pinioned point that Tekkadan is stuck in. no matter what they do, they're now having to, come out guns ablazing, fending for themselves from all sides. We see by the end of this episode that Makanai he hasn't said he made the decision to turn them over to Karta and Galahorn, but Karta is, because of her power, because of her prestige, she apparently has this, call to give us Tekkadan, give us Cordelia, or else, and they have to abide by it. So the guns will be ablazing by the next episode, and it's insane. Now, all the mobile suits have undergone some upgrades from the, turbine side with laughter and everything like that, as well as they had some ideas. We hear them talking about upgrading the Barbados and such for land battle, which it's going to be really interesting to see. We've had space battle and everything like that, and it's always, has me at the edge of my seat seeing those sequences. But we haven't seen any land battles since like episodes 1 to 3 of the series, and it's going to be really intriguing with all the, like macking out they've done on these mobile suits, and to see Karta's, people coming down, the orbital alliance resistance, whatever it is, coming down and being like, knock, knock, who's home? Let's see who's going to go up against us. Like, it's going to be a throwdown. It's going to be a proper throwdown. And at least per the PV, it looks almost as though you even have Biscuit piloting one of these, mobile suits, potentially. And there's a shot where it looks like somebody's cockpit gets, blasted apart. Not sure whose, but it's kind of like signaling the death knell to me. One of these characters probably ain't coming out of this. And wouldn't it just be a shame now that, Biscuit has all of this on his shoulders, all this added baggage of, I want a safer scenario. I want more calming, peaceful scenarios. I don't want to have to go into battle. I don't want to have to fight. I don't want to have to risk my life or see others losing their lives. And wouldn't it just be, it's like the old 50s war movie cliche. The cat who's talking about going back to, Yankees Stadium, having a hot dog with his best gal when he gets home, and then he gets the bullet in the head. I think I even made that reference early on in the series, that it was something similar to that. It would be just a stark shame if Biscuit was the one to be killed. Now that he's the first who realizes how dangerous this scenario is. So all I can say is, damn. By the end of this episode, they really got themselves pinioned into a corner between a rock and a hard place. And Orga's going to be the man. He's going to step up. And he's going to make the hard decision, and he's going to make it for everybody, considering everybody. Cordelia, it's interesting how she's like, well, look, you got me this far. This was the limit of your job specification. Now leave me to it, and you figure out something for yourself. It's like, damn, girl, no. We came all this way. We're sticking together, So I'm just really curious to see what's going to happen next. Who's going to live and or die in this oncoming onslaught with this Karta Issue, weird name, Karta Issue, who is very, she's a standout character in just how pompous and sort of outspoken and, cocksure that she is. Again, almost to the point of being bratty, but that's hilarious because she is in this, position of power. And she's so sure of herself. And I'm sure she's going to have, things cut out for her going up against Tekkadan and such like that. But it's going to be a battle for the taking, I guess. It's just going to be interesting to see what unfolds, So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 20 of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. If you've seen it, if you were a little shocked like I was that they just got slapped in the face by this guy Makanai and the Oceanian group, and, I'm going to give you guys up if you don't do what I want you to do and all this stuff, and then he's going to give them up anyway because Karta has the power, And are you getting the death knell signals for Biscuit or anyone else like I am, that vibe, and were you moved by the just harsh reality in the message to Biscuit from his brother about needing to, consider your own well-being in the decisions you make rather than being just, running into havoc and saying screw all, that kind of thing. Really good life lesson, I would think. So yeah, love to hear from you. Our POVs can certainly disagree, love it or hate it. Anything goes in the comments below. Just let me know what you thought of this episode. And otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well. and I'll catch you all later. Peace.